It's very funny. I wanted to watch the Wolverine sketch just because I knew I had 2 minutes. I know exactly how long it is. And when I Googled it, I found some because the internet is weird. It was a Reddit post saying, Matt Wood should play Wolverine.
Oh yeah, baby, she's blowing up.
Word association is it, but like in a weird way, I gotta imagine that's fun. You know, Talking about a movie is weird, right? Make it, you hope it's good, you hope people like it. But then what happens after is sort of out of your control. So like that someone in the world watched the movie, right? And went, "This is a good Belushi. He should play Wolverine." It, it's cool, it's fun to think, but it's just like, what world are we living in, right? How does it feel to like be in a world where people are like casting you in things now on the
Well, in that world, that's the correct world. I'm ready. Like Marvel, come on, like juice me up, baby. Like I'm ready. I'll get jacked, full Pratt. I want the chef. I want the trainer. I just want. Why not? But no, it's crazy, man. This is kind of my first movie. I did like one like indie before this, and other than that, I'm more of like a theater guy, and I've got some TV background. So yeah, it's an absolute trip for people to recognize you for anything as an actor. That's not my experience at all. After we did it in TIFF, I got recognized on the street for the first time in Toronto. That's the first time that's ever happened in my life. Some guy was like, "Are you Matt Wood?" And I was like, "Oh, I don't know."
end.
It was very jarring. He was like, "In what context are you asking that?" But it's the coolest and it's the best. So let's roll with it.
Love the two things that were consistent. I saw the film a Telluride, but I was at the Toronto breakfast, and it was very funny to every single person's first reaction was, "Oh no, Jason, I'm wrong for this. Please don't cast me. I don't look like this person. I'm going to ruin your movie." And two, it's really cool that we're doing this. I can't believe
Yes.
this up well. Everyone is so good around me. Now I'm the one who's going to fuck it up. It's just funny that everyone had the exact same reaction. Everyone around.
everyone felt everyone thought they were going to fuck it up. Every's like no, like everyone thought they were going to fuck it up. Like coming up to like their big moment on set, like Dylan O'Brien, was like the most like talking shit about like his, he's like, oh, I don't look like it over, and then you see him do it, and it's like, what are you talking about? Like this is like no one could possibly do this any better. It's definitive, like the cast is incredible, and like every time I get to rewatch the movie, I'm just further blown away by somebody else's amazing performance. Jason and John Papsadera did a stunning job casting it, like maybe the likes of which has never been seen
Oh,
as
yeah.
far as biopicky casting goes. It's not the look, it's the essence. It's something about that person, that just connects with the other person. The look is just bonus.
It lets you tell the story you want to tell, which I want to talk more about that in a second. But it just reminded me of I spend a lot of time with Dylan at that breakfast because we like the same team, so it was the right thing to talk about. But yeah, he said there was one picture his mom found of like Dan like covering his face. We're like, you look like him there, and he's like, if that's as good as we're getting, this is a problem. But I think it does speak to the idea of you can if you capture the essence, you can tell the story in the way that Jason wants to tell because it is sort of like on the first night, we're going to take everything interesting that happened the first year and sort
Yeah,
of like put into that night. And really, I don't. It's a credit to the movie that nobody's had a problem with that because think about it.
totally.
But it's the first thing people love to have a problem is like this didn't happen on the right day. It happened a week later, and the fact that nobody cares about that
It's
part.
like, well, if you were like that, the only response would be like, haha, we got you. You fell for it, dum dum. Like that's like part of like the attitude of the movie is like, pick it up. Yeah, like, yeah, it's not true. Whatever. Move on. We don't got time for that. One of my favorite reviews of the movie is that, that I read months ago was like that it's more spiritually true than technically true. And I think that applies to like, I think that's a great way to put it. And I think that applies to, everyone's casting and performance as well. Like as you said, talking about essence, it's these are more of a spiritually true take on these people and these characters than it is exactly what their headspace might have been going into this moment. It's more American fable than biopic.
We'll pretend that was my review because I don't remember what I wrote, but I gave it 4 stars. Like
Hey,
when,
yeah, I'll take it. We'll take it. We love that.
in the trailer, so I count. It's fine. Uh, I think more than maybe anyone else, you have the hardest role because I think it's the easiest one for people to picture in their head
Yeah,
because he was so big and everyone knows what Dan Aykroyd looks like, sure, but like especially when you watch the movie, it's easy to go, okay, I can accept that easily. The movie really doesn't give you a place to hide.
Yeah.
It really does have to work, and I think it feels so true that I never feel like you're doing an impression. It never feels like, oh, we got to do Belushi. Like
Yeah.
that was such a failure. I think it feels really like it almost feels like, and I know this is probably not true, but like you just there was a guy on a in one production of a show that was a pain in the ass, and that was the guy that you're thinking like this guy is really good at his job, but he's miserable to deal with. How do I
Yeah,
make?
and maybe at certain points in my life that guy has been me, like in varying degrees. It's like the core seven of like SNL. Like I can see, I see shades of all of those people and the people who play them, the wonderful actors who play them, but then across the industry of people that I've come across, like in touring theater or Broadway or community theater, you see these personalities and these same ticks. It's tale as old as time, when it comes to putting on a show. It's like Lauren says, it's commedia dell'arte. These are stock characters, stock energies, and he's kind of like casting his show that way. So, and when it comes to John too, we're talking about like a shorter, character actor who, struggles with his weight and struggles with his self-image and has always maybe like wanted to be taken a little bit more seriously. It's not unrelatable to myself, like it's yeah, exactly. Come on, come on now. What are we talking about here?
Scene.
Um, so it's Jason in his, and John in their great way of casting us. It is about this essence in us, and he really, I'm sure all the other actors will say this too, and I think it's a Jason Reitman thing. But from the beginning, he said, don't, I'm not going to get it right exactly how I said it, but basically, don't, work too hard. Don't over prepare is how he said it. I cast you for a reason, and you already know how to do this. That's kind of his mantra. And you really have to kind of like at a certain point let go and believe it. And when you do, I think that's when we do kind of get those like nice little honest moments out of the movie. Yeah, yeah, please.
Oh yeah, no, it's true. It's like make the movie we're making. Don't worry about making the John Belushi movie. Don't worry
Exactly.
exactly the Lorne Michaels movie. Like I've got a movie, and like we'll find out if it's good or not. But like let's make the movie that I think we can do. I mean, but that's
Yeah,
every
absolutely.
is worried they're doing a good job, and I've heard people with multiple Oscars talk about like I thought I was getting fired. And you're like really like or it because it's how the director deals with it, and I think Jason has enough of a track record of I'm a real actor's director. Like I chose to do this. Like
Yeah,
like dude could have sat at home and done nothing his entire life and been very happy. Like
absolutely.
I want to do this. This is what I find enjoyable. I want everyone to have a good experience. And yeah, his movies are heavy sometimes or they're funny, but they're all like playgrounds. And it does feel like it's a place to like feel like you can screw up and it'll be okay. So it,
Absolutely.
it's so easy, I think, for a director to forget to be like, great. Like, listen, one of my favorite directors is Kevin Smith. Nobody's idea of the greatest director in the world, but he said like most of what he has to do is tell tech people yes, no, seven of those, blue, like help them do their job better, and then tell the actors how good they are because because they're good at this. They're all good at their jobs. As long as they feel like they can do anything, like you're gonna get good stuff. I don't really think if Jason was like, fuck this up, do better next time, suddenly your performance is better. I think you're gonna be like, oh shit, and that's not good.
Absolutely. And any time that like, like I said, this is one of my like first, this is one of my first like big movies. So like there were some days on set where I would get a little bit in my own way or get in my own head. Like and especially like it would be the funniest things too that would be the things that would throw me off. Like my hardest day on set was the picking up and throwing the ashtray,
Yeah.
like especially like in the special. Like he made me do it probably like 20 times just because he like really wanted it like lifted in a certain way and tossed in this way. And I was kind of like getting a little bit like in my own way. And he always swoops in at the exact right moment to be like, hey, you're great. I already got it. Like we've already got it. So like just be here with me, just be here with me and let's do the thing. Let's just get this work done.
Like, you're never doing it
Yeah.
wrong. We're just gonna, there's a there.
Funnily enough, that's one of like the things that like Gabe Lavelle, in his 21 years of wisdom, was able to like tell me on my first day of like filming when I was getting, which was the ice skating scene. Me getting a little bit in my own way too of being like, oh, I don't know if I'm like landing this right. He's like, it's never wrong. It's all usable.
Yeah.
And that kind of like mentality, really seeing a bit more of like the kind of like locking in a little bit more with like the creative process of filmmaking as opposed to just the creative process of acting. Seeing like acting as a functional tool in the filmmaking. It's not just like show up and do whatever. Like, you're part of it, and everything is useful, and everything, nothing's bad.
Almost like working with Steven Spielberg was a good thing for Gabe.
It's almost like that was the greatest introduction into this world one could possibly have.
Hey, I know this will probably make you feel okay, but I want you to play me. Oh, okay.
But you made Hook. That how can I play you?
Right? You're like, yes, it's only about that. No, yeah, but again, he's another one who was just like, yeah, I'm overwhelmed every second that I'm here, and I have to kind of remind myself, no, everyone here is nice, and that's the other thing. Everyone here is nice. Everyone here is wants to have a good time. Like that was same for him with Fableman's. Like everyone around him is a superstar, but like nobody has to do this. Like
Right.
oh my god, what a terrible thing! I have to act against Seth Rogen, a very pleasant man in the world. Like on this movie is pretending to be a jerk. Everyone here is pretending to be self-centered. Like most of the people in this cast are lovely people who are going, I can't believe I'm doing this. Jason's going to wake up and know he made a mistake and find a real actor after this. So I think it makes like a real club. And I think that it speaks to how much you guys get along.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Anytime we get to do a Q&A, it's always like, yay, just to kind of get to reconnect.
Are just fun complaints. Like my friend Mike did like all of you guys sitting together in the hotel when we were leaving Toronto, and he said he was listening to Corey talk to someone. Someone's like, have you gotten to hang out in Toronto, have a good time? He's like, I have seen this hotel, and that's a good time to have, but I have seen this hotel. That is what I have done so far. But that kind of, we're all in this weird thing. We're tired, but like anytime any one of us is like, well, this is stupid. Everyone else will be like, well, wait, this is better than what we could be doing. Let's remember. And also like to again make it have a good time and then have people like it. That's
Yeah.
another the whole other thing of, I was at the first screening of Telluride, the world premiere, and people went wild for it. Like it was introduced by Bill Murray. Bill Murray likes the movie. That says something.
Yeah, exactly. If Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd like the movie, I'm good. You're not going to like hurt my feelings with anything said about it. No, it's the best. It's the coolest.
And they are people who would not mind hurting your feelings. Not in like a
Yeah,
dick.
absolutely. Oh my God, Dan Aykroyd with a smile on his face.
You
Dress me down. Go for it.
would have walked in and be like, guys, movie's terrible. I'm glad you, but
And honestly, if they did that, I'd still probably be like, yay.
probably put that on in the trailer somehow. Like that's a good one. I don't
Yeah.
know. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Dylan loved the fact that when I guess they asked Dan about it, he was like, "Glad the man's getting work." Like,
I'm just glad the young man has got some work. Is what I said, I believe. Yeah. That was a big day on set, getting that image. That was like probably like first or second week of shooting when we got that footage. That was a very fun day at the chairs.
I think you need that. I think you need that. They'd be like, "Okay, he doesn't know I exist. That's fine. He shouldn't know." Like, what?
No, exactly. No, I never had any, and there's so few people like from I'm a huge like comedy nerd and like SNL nerd from back in the day. I read all the books before this. Like it's you don't expect. I love that about the process, that it's been so like not precious. Like some days there'd be like weird days on set where it's like, oh, okay, Francis Ford Coppola is here, cool.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like this parade of like SNL or like comedy people like coming through. It wasn't like this, it's not this grand, like parade of like, oh, isn't this like wonderful what we're doing? It's like, no, Jason has a take on this material. It's about that moment of like creating art, capturing lightning in a bottle, with your friends. It's about snatching the reins of like entertainment from the older generation, forcing it out of their hands. And that's myth. That's not even like the story of SNL. That's tale as old as time. That's kind of why I called it like American fable. That's what it's more so to me, than anything.
It's clearly made by someone who loves it, but loves it because it's messy and because it's weird and because it doesn't fit together and shouldn't have worked. Like his thing at Telluride was, I think it was after Juno or Up in the Air, whenever his agent was like, "You can do anything in the world right now." He's like, "I want to write a sketch for SNL." And they're like,
That's right.
"That's what you want to turn in your chips for?" Yes, like the idea of I will give up everything to be able to get yelled at by Lorne Michaels for a week. is
Absolutely.
it make you only make this type of movie in that scenario because it
And
could
that's
have
how it,
I want to be like chauffeured there and toured and like get the kiss the ring treatment. It's not. It's like I want to be in the mix and have my sketch not make it.
yeah. I mean, Jason's like a forever student, forever teacher. I love how he, can really how he motivates and like helps, a younger generation. And that was something that like I saw him do on that set. And I was a little older than some of the cast there too. Like it's like you do have to like look out for this younger generation and like, make them feel heard and seen. But also not like, baby it too much. They have to like take it from you. You have to like allow that moment to happen as well. So yeah, it's the whole process. My whole process of doing the movie has felt very much like I'm in the movie, where it's just kind of like, okay, go on, you have to like be in a movie now. It's like, okay, if you think so, and it's like, yeah, and there's a red carpet at TIFF, go on. And it's the coolest. That's life. That's making art. It's the greatest artistic experience of my life, and I'm forever grateful.
As you should be. And the fact that Jason is not precious about things is also like true. Like I had interviewed him for the front runner and I liked it and it got an okay
Yeah,
reaction. But I one of my favorite movies a couple years before was Men, Women, and Children, a movie
yeah,
well received, let's say. And
yeah, yeah,
I love that it was my second favorite movie of the year that year, and he went, fuck off. That's not true.
yeah.
Like he at one point at the end of the conversation was right before he announced Ghostbusters. He had asked, like, well, if you were me, what would you make? And I think if I had said you should make like your dad's thing, he might have been like, don't write about it, but that's actually what I'm doing. And I was like, well, you know what I like that you make. And he's like, yeah, that's what people want more of. Like, it's a guy who understands, like,
Yeah.
yeah, the industry will be honest with you in a way that maybe you don't want, but the fact that you get to make them in the first place is the win. And the
Yeah.
fact that you continue is the win. And I think all of that, I don't think he would have made this movie necessarily earlier on in his career. He probably would
No.
to, but I think you need to be at that point of I've succeeded, I failed, I've loved, I've lost, I've had everything. I can look back at it, like you said perfectly, as fable, as opposed to this thing I love. It can be this thing I love, but also there's stuff in it that maybe they would rather me not have in it, but I think that makes the story better. And I think that
Totally.
it's such a full examination in under 2 hours, which God, thank you for that. Also,
Right? What a joy. I
like
thank myself when I watch it at home. It's like, this is great. You get to bed at a reasonable hour. No, Jason's pure craft, pure craft. And I can't wait to see what he does next and what he continues to do. I'm sure he's like got a billion amazing ideas cooking in there. I think he's a genius.
likewise for you, clearly, like we said, Marvel. But besides that, that's the thing about this movie is I don't know anyone in the industry who watches and doesn't go like, all right, let me take a pen and start writing some names down that I want to have my people go talk to. That's that thing that whether people think it happens or not, like almost every movie is successful in that way because someone will watch something and go, I want that guy. Like,
Yeah.
like I remember, like I said, I love Kevin Smith. The movie he made, Red State, like
Yeah.
kind of it's a great movie, but kind of came and went in the sense because it was self-distributed. He had sent it to Ben Affleck because they were less friendly at the time, and like asked him if he liked. They never got a response. And then like I guess I'd been like, so did you watch it? And he's like, dude, did you not see Argo? I cast like half your cast in my movie. Like, and went, okay, I gotta have John Goodman, I gotta have Carrie Bechet. Like, just started going like Michael Parks. Like, I need all these people. It's
That's awesome. Well, any directors out there who have been watching the film, I'm here. My schedule is clear, baby. Let's cook.
he'll take a 10% discount if you'll cast him right now.
Oh, it's everything. Anything's negotiable.
And I get 5% of that. So there we go. It works out great. All right.
Anything's negotiable. That's it.
Exactly. Thank you so much for doing this. This is
Yeah.
and as I told Gabe, I can't wait till you're too famous to want to do these anymore with me.
Never a chance. Never. Always got to talk to the people. Love it. Thanks so much, Joey.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you, and congrats again. You enjoy it. You are, but continue to enjoy this. It's such a cool thing.
Thank you very much.